Countless people have been searching for the secret of immortality since ancient times, but so far, there has been no success. However, in nature, there are creatures that seem to defy death. These creatures possess incredible abilities, such as remarkable regenerative powers and an exceptionally long lifespan. Today, I will introduce to you 10 incredible creatures that cannot be killed. We've often heard that bees die as soon as they sting. But how can we say they have immortality? Can they really return to life? Don't worry. The reason bees still make this list is because they can sting even after they're dead. Of course, they're not flying up to your nose and stinging you. What I mean is that normally, when a bee stings and dies, its stinger may still function. If the stinger falls off, the venom release system can continue to work. This stinger has a tiny structure that holds both venom and a small muscle pump that pushes the venom out. The physiological structure of bees is simple, and this action is often beyond their control. So, even if a bee is dead, if you touch its stinger in a certain way, it can still prick you mercilessly. The depth of the sting depends on how hard you press. If you ask a butcher who frequently kills chickens, you'll learn that a chicken can still run around even after losing its head. This happens because the central nervous system of chickens is quite different from that of humans. For chickens, some basic physiological functions are controlled not by the brain, but by the brainstem. If a butcher chops off the chicken's head, but leaves the cerebellum and brainstem intact, the chicken may survive and even continue breathing. If food is injected into its esophagus, it can even continue to eat. Sounds like something straight out of a Hong Kong zombie movie, doesn't it? It's said that a chicken named Mike lived for 18 months without a head. During this time, Mike followed his owner to various places. Doesn't that sound like a miracle among miracles? I'm sure you've seen similar videos. Even after being chopped into pieces, the octopus still seems to move. But can an octopus really not die if it can still move? No, the octopus is actually dead. What you see moving are its 8 tentacles. You might wonder, why do the tentacles continue to move even after the octopus is dead? This is because the octopus has a very unique central nervous system. Most of the nerve cells are distributed in the tentacles rather than being concentrated in the brain like in humans. So even if the tentacles are no longer connected to the brain, they can still respond to stimuli. Now, if you want to eat octopus sashimi, I must warn you, this is a very dangerous delicacy. It's not that it's poisonous, but if your throat gets caught by one of these moving tentacles, the consequences could be disastrous. But what can the tentacles do after the octopus dies, and how long can they keep moving? Researchers at St. George's University in London conducted an experiment. After euthanizing the octopuses, they removed their tentacles and placed them in ice-cold seawater for an hour. Then, they divided the tentacles into 2 groups, one placed horizontally and the other suspended vertically. The researchers then used clamps to pinch the tentacles and observe their reactions. The results showed that the tentacles placed horizontally quickly tried to dodge the stimulus, while those hanging vertically bent upward within 1 second. Remarkably, these movements can last for up to a week after the octopus dies. The salamander has long been associated with longevity and even immortality. Some people who believe in magic revere the salamander, viewing its incredible regenerative abilities as something beyond nature, something that could only exist in a magical world. But believe in natural selection, survival of the fittest. The fittest will always have special abilities. What's truly amazing about the salamander is its ability to regenerate any part of its body after it's been severed. Even more astonishing is that these regenerated parts function just as well as the originals. In some cases, the regenerated area may even perform better. So, why is this possible? It turns out that salamanders produce a special protein that promotes cell replication. This protein is also present in humans, but in much smaller amounts, where it helps our wounds heal. You might wonder, does this mean humans could one day regrow a severed limb? While it's not possible yet, scientists are studying the salamander's unique ability in the hopes that it could benefit humans in the future. Scientists have discovered that frogs can still move even after their brains have died, and they can continue to move their bodies even if they are headless. The mechanism behind this is similar to that of many other creatures. The respiratory and circulatory centers of frogs are located in the spine, so even if the brain is damaged or completely destroyed, these systems can still function normally. As a result, the frog can still respond to external stimuli. For example, if you flip the frog over, it will turn around and try to stand up. If you pinch its feet, it will jump away. If you place it in water, it may even swim to the side. What's even more unsettling is that if you stroke its back, it might even croak happily. However, it's important to note that these behaviors are purely reflexive. Reflexes trigger the necessary electrical impulses to contract or expand muscles, meaning these actions are not corpse tricks. There's no need to be scared, it's just the frog's natural response. Have you ever seen David Blaine's fly magic trick? In that trick, he touches a dead fly, and it miraculously comes back to life. Does this mean the magician has superpowers? That's impossible. In reality, flies can survive in low temperatures. What you saw in the trick was simply David using his own body heat to thaw the frozen fly. Once the fly is completely thawed, it can naturally fly away. However, this remarkable low-temperature survival ability is not the reason flies are on our list. Flies, like the animals mentioned above, have some incredible traits. Female flies can survive for several days after losing their heads. Not only can they stay alive, but they can also perform complex actions, just like a normal fly, such as grooming, flying, and walking. What's even more amazing is that the male fly doesn't notice anything unusual about the headless female. Instead, he thinks, "She's got such a unique personality, and I love her so much that I want to pursue her." Although the female fly has no head, she's still sharp as ever. When faced with unwanted advances, she decisively rejects him. The hearts of fish, reptiles, birds, and mammals all have their own pacemaker cells. When the brain loses function, these cells take over to ensure that the heart can continue to beat for a period of time. However, the resilient turtle has taken this period of time to a whole new level. They treat oxygen deprivation as nothing out of the ordinary. Turtles have developed a remarkable ability that allows them to dive underwater for up to 5,000 hours. Yes, you read that correctly. 5,000 hours. Turtles are master divers. They can absorb oxygen directly from the water through their skin, throat, anus, and body. This ability enables them to survive without direct oxygen supply for extended periods. The energy they generate is like having their own fuel station for their heart. When the last drop of energy is used up, they can surface to replenish their oxygen. Of course, no turtle would risk its life recklessly, so there's a reason for the turtle's longevity in the natural world. Snakes surely deserve a spot on the list of immortals. Their vitality is remarkably strong and often beyond imagination. When faced with harsh conditions, snakes can enter a state of hibernation without eating or drinking, surviving on just a small amount of air for up to a year. This ability is similar to how people often brew medicinal wine, where the container isn't always filled to the brim. When a snake feels the air, it can raise its head and move toward the opening of the bottle to survive. Therefore, even if a snake is submerged for several years, as long as the bottle isn't completely sealed, there's a chance it could survive. This explains why many snake wine enthusiasts have been bitten when opening the jars. Additionally, the snake's nervous system is highly sensitive. The central nervous system remains intact for up to an hour after death. Even if the snake's head is severed, the head can still sense changes in the surrounding environment for a short time. If the head is touched, or if someone approaches, it may still react instinctively, striking out with a bite. Flatworms are renowned for their remarkable regenerative abilities. Any part of their body, even if it is cut off, can regenerate. What's even more extraordinary is that each piece will automatically grow back the missing parts. It may be hard to grasp at first, so let's put it into perspective. If you cut off a flatworm's head, the remaining body will grow a new head, while the severed head will grow a new body. If you cut the worm into 20 pieces, all 20 parts will eventually regenerate into identical flatworms. This regenerative ability is truly amazing. Scientists at the University of Nottingham conducted an experiment in which they used just one flatworm to create a colony of over 20,000 flatworms. Additionally, scientists have discovered that their bodies and organs do not seem to age, leading them to believe that this group of flatworms, which has remained undisturbed by the outside world, could potentially live forever. In an unexpected twist, it seems that a simple worm may have achieved immortality first. As we all know, cockroaches are not only disgusting, but also incredibly tenacious. They are even considered to be the most likely species to survive a nuclear war. Incredibly, they can live for up to 2 weeks without their heads. Can you believe it? But why can they survive so long without their heads, while humans would perish immediately after losing theirs? Let's first understand why humans are so fragile. For one, blood flows through the human body. If the head is lost, the blood circulation is disrupted, which leads to death. Cockroaches, however, don't face this issue. They have an open circulatory system with almost no blood pressure. Therefore, even without their heads, the wound will still heal automatically. Secondly, the human head contains an essential organ, the brain. Without the brain, the body cannot perform basic life functions such as breathing. Cockroaches, on the other hand, don't rely on their heads for respiration. Their breathing process occurs through small holes in their bodies, so they won't die from a lack of oxygen. However, without a head, they cannot eat, and will eventually starve to death in about 2 weeks. So, while it's true that these resilient creatures can survive without their heads for a time, they ultimately do not live long without the ability to eat. They're certainly tough, but even good insects don't live forever. Okay, that's all for today's video. Which of the 10 immortal creatures impressed you the most? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.